Welcome to Advanced Topics in Algebra. We're bringing you today percent change problems. I am Mr. Franklin. So, when I was 10, I was 5 feet 1 inch tall. Now I am 5 feet 10 inches. What was the percent change in my height? Best way to tackle this is to convert these heights to inches. Looking at that, my old height, 5 feet is 60 inches, so 5 feet 1 is 61 inches. Then my new height is 5 feet 10 inches, which is 60 plus 10, so that's 70 inches. Now, clearly I have grown in this time, and so the percent increase is going to need to be a positive number. So the change between these two, in order to make it a positive number, is going to be 70 minus 61. We are also looking for the change relative to my old height. How much have I grown as a percentage of the old height? So we're going to divide this by the old height. So what this gives us is a number with the actual change on the top. 70 minus 61 is 9, divided by 61. Taking out my handy dandy calculator, I can see that that comes out to a decimal equivalent of 0.1475. Notice it's a positive number because my height is increasing. By moving the decimal place 2 spaces to the right, in other words, converting to percent by multiplying by 100, that gives me a final answer of 14.8%. Notice I did a little rounding there to 1 decimal place, or the tenths place, just for convenience. A similar problem that is done in much the same way is going to be used with money, a financial application. Here, the point I'm trying to make is that we are still going to use the same formula. It's a little harder to wrap your brain around the application here. The idea of a change in height, I think, is pretty familiar to most people. But the idea of buying and selling stocks is a little bit less familiar. So what we're going to do is realize that we're going to use the same formula. To figure out the percent increase, we take the new price minus the old price and divide it by the old. So George bought shares of stock in Soryusub Company for $13.73 each. That's how much he bought it for before. So that's the old price. That happens in the past. In the present or the future, he wants to sell it at $15.99. That is the new price. So let's just figure that out. $15.99 minus $13.73 all over. We're trying to find that as a percentage of the old price. That's going to give us a decimal. Or rather, on the top of the fraction, we get the actual change in the price. And we divide that by the old price. And we can see that George's stock went up .1646 as a proportion. Converting that to decimal, we've got 16.5%. Again, notice I rounded to 1 decimal place just for convenience. Here's another similar problem, but in this case we're going to have the percent, and we're going to work backwards to figure out what the new price or the selling price is going to be. Again, we're going to have the same formula. new subtract old, all over old. Now in this case we know the old price, and we know that this is going to equal, well, I can't really work with the 9% in this. I need to convert it back to decimal. 0.09. So in this case we've got the new price is what we're looking for. Let's call that X so I don't have to write new a couple of times. Minus $4.87 all over the old price of $4.87, and this equals a 9% increase. I know it's an increase because that's a positive number. So we had X minus $4.87 all over $4.87 equals 0.09. And now I need to do a little bit of multiplication. I have to use this on the bottom of the fraction, the denominator, to move it over here. And since on this side it is on this side here, it's a division in the denominator, I'm going to make it into a multiplication over on the right hand side, like this. X minus $4.87 equals 0.09 times $4.87. I think I can do better times than that. There we go. Once I do that, I can see that I just need to do a little multiplication. And over here on the right, that's going to equal 0.4383. That's the actual number of cents that this increased by. Notice that that is not in the usual 2 decimal places that we would use for cents, but I'm going to leave that as 4 decimal places for right now. I'll do all my rounding at the end of the problem. Can reduce rounding error that way. On the left-hand side of this equation, in order to get rid of that $4.87 over there, what I'm going to do is add $4.87, giving me cancellation, but I have to add it on this side, leaving me with just X. So I know that X, which is the new price, equals $5.30.83. Oops. I should not have a decimal in there. Get rid of that. So 5.3083, which tells me with a little bit of rounding that the new price, the price that he's going to sell it for after the 9% increase, and we're talking about money here, is $5.31. Approximately, because of rounding error, but that's the right answer. So, thank you for watching. This is the end.